Welcome to That's Good Sports. I am Brandon. 0 officials were assaulted in the NFL this week in Perna, but I can't say the same for Texas high school football. Today I will pay tribute to the most famous ref in the world this week after he took this brutal shot in Texas high school football. Clear eyes, full hearts. That's assault, brother. And we will dive into the best and worst from the league. For example, the worst of the weekend. The Miami Dolphins not lining up properly on this otherwise perfectly executed trick play on 4th down, robbing punter Matt Hack of a rushing touchdown. Robbing a kicker of a touchdown because of an illegal formation is worse than telling a Make-A-Wish kid his dream of meeting Peyton Manning is coming true, and then introducing him to Ryan Leaf on his deathbed. Best? Mekhi Becton's butt crack. Please, anytime you see a player's butt crack, at me on Twitter, at Brandon Perna, with those hot picks. Best and worst, week 13. That's good sports. I make football videos here, multiple days during the week, so that tickles your fancy? Subscribe. Today's episode is sponsored by Raycon and the Everyday E25 earbuds at buyraycon.com/thatsgood. Now is the time to start dropping hints that you want the most affordable premium wireless earbuds for the holidays. Or buy yourself a pair so you can tune out the noise that is your crazy family at Christmas. Their noise isolating fit and long battery life ensures you won't hear a word of Uncle Randy's crazy conspiracies this holiday season. The Everyday E25 earbuds are a perfect gift for the people you'd prefer listen to music rather than talk to you. That's why I'm giving my Uncle Randy 2 pair. Raycon is being extra generous for the holidays with a great price, offering all That's Good Sports viewers 15% off right now so you can save big on your gift shopping. Again, click the link in the description, buyraycon.com/thatsgood for your 15% discount now. Well, talk about having your dreams crushed in front of your very eyes. Worst, I always wanted to see a player intentionally lay out a referee, and then I saw it. And all I felt was empathy and sadness. 2 emotions I avoid like the plague. I, of course, wanted to see this in an NFL game after an official made a horrible call, like in that Saints playoff game. But to see it happen to a high school ref and not one of those multi-millionaire NFL elitists is regretful. They definitely still take football too seriously in Texas. Except for their professional teams, of course. That player has since been arrested and his team disqualified from the postseason. Colts and Texans, best? T.Y. Hilton returning to the end zone for the 2nd straight week. Those were Hilton's first 2 touchdowns of the season, and this was T.Y.'s first 100-yard receiving performance since 2018, back when he had a quarterback who refused to shit-talk the defense. Unlike his current one, who only shit-talks the defense without ever using the word shit. Worst, watching Deshaun Watson have to waste his life in Houston. The Texans are living proof that it's not just a quarterback league. Otherwise, they'd be in the conversation with KC and Pittsburgh in the AFC. J.J. Watt is now 31st on the NFL's all-time sack list, with his 101st coming against Philly Rivers. Many people thought Watt celebrated his sack with a little sip of tea, but I can confirm that was Watt actually pretending to suck the tiniest dick on earth. And he will be fined by Roger Goodell, who he was clearly referencing. Best, Kenny Moore with the high testosterone interception of the weekend. Watson's 237 passing attempts without an INT comes to an end because his receiver doesn't do enough bicep curls. Poor Deshaun. Worst, poor Deshaun Watson's chances of experiencing joy were robbed by a shitty snap on the goal line, costing Houston the game in tragic fashion. Browns-Titans, best. The Browns scored 38 points in the first half. Baker Mayfield threw 4 touchdowns, and Nick Chubb added a touchdown run before intermission. Now, I legitimately thought Tennessee's defense was better than this, but it appears I was wrong. The first time I've been wrong since I said Aunt Becky will never, ever go to jail, not for any reason ever. Boy, I was a stupid 10-year-old. Worst, the Browns stopping Derek Henry on 4th and short. The Browns stuffing Derek Henry on a 2-point conversion. This was supposed to be a clash of titans, of running backs in a Titans game. And Henry gets stuffed, he fumbles, and then the Browns throw a damn touchdown to offensive lineman Kendall Lamb. That's 310 pounds of lamb, or enough for 1,300 euros. Worst, thinking Cleveland could blow a 31-point lead. That's just how we feel about the Browns. And that was the question in the second half as Tennessee rallied behind 2 Michael Pruitt touchdowns. I'm sorry, who? Oh, Michael, I just saved A.J. Brown's ass for fumbling at the goal line, Pruitt. That's who. Congrats, though, to Cleveland for proving they have turned the corner and ensuring a winning record, hitting the 9-win mark. Bears, Lions, best? This might be the catch and throw of the week from Matthew Stafford to Quintez Cephas, who was on my all-name list for the 2020 draft. A first pro touchdown for Cephas to make this a perfect 50-yard bomb by Stafford. Stafford also sidearm slung a touchdown pass to Jesse James, who definitely caught that ball. Worst, if you're wondering why the Bears lost their lead, look no further than this stat. The Bears have scored just 7 third-quarter points this entire season. I don't know what this says about Matt Nagy's ability to make adjustments, but they might be better off spending halftime passing out orange slices. Best, Detroit proving that my theory that the interim head coaching boost is the biggest lock in all sports. Detroit overcomes a 10-point deficit late in the game to get the win, while Darrell Bevel gets our Benchwarmer Brew Coach of the Week honors.
The Lions suck, bro. We're not gonna change looks
before the snap and make you go into some type of rhythm.
Saints vs. Falcons. Best? Taysom Hill threw his first passing touchdown as an NFL QB. That was his 63rd attempt, and it couldn't have been easier with a wide-open Traquan Smith. That's the kind of throw only Carson Wentz can miss these days. Worst, the Falcons coaches looking like they're on Maury Povich, and that they all found out that they're not the father. I say this is the worst because, come on guys, it's an incomplete pass by Taysom Hill. We've seen this before. Best, the Saints have made the playoffs now for the 4th season in a row. The first time that's happened in their franchise's history. They're also 9-0 with backup quarterbacks over the last 2 seasons. I think this says more about their defense than anything. Just look at these Saints defensive stat numbers. Look at them, they're really good. And look at them, because I didn't write them down. Dolphins, Bengals, best? Dolphins continue their streak of forcing a turnover in every game this season, and Xavier Howard has a league-leading 8 interceptions with this beauty. That's 4 straight games for Howard with the pick, and that's his second 4-game streak this season. Worst, ejecting Tyler Boyd and Xavier Howard, 2 of the best players in this matchup, for this. A little push and shove. If the violence in a player scuffle isn't equal to or greater than a hit that might happen between the whistles, you do not eject. Best, Tua learning that Mike Gesicki is the second best receiving target on this team. Gesicki reeled in a one-handed grab and finished with 9 catches for 88 yards and a touchdown. I still feel an intense irony, though, around a guy named Gesicki having such a strong 2020. Best, a brawl broke out in this game, sort of, and Brian Flores came onto the field to defend his player's honor. This hit on the punt returner is what ignited the brouhaha, and some punches were thrown, as seen by the Skycam, but this isn't even close to the best Bengals-Dolphins pseudo-brawl. That belongs to Brian Cox trying to fight the entire Bengals roster after they took a cheap shot at kicker Pete Stoyanovich. I'm also impressed with this Tua meme, now that he is 4-1 as a starter, which is how many wins Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow have combined. Jags Vikings worst? Mike Glennon killing Minshew mania. Make way for the Glennaissance? Where's this Glennacide? I'm not mad that Glennon played well. I'm angry he threw this pick in overtime. Start getting wins, Mike, so the Jaguars can't draft Minshew's replacement. Worst. 2 things I don't care about anymore. 1, the evolution of Adam Thielen's gritty celebration. Any white guy who improves his dancing skills is a direct threat to my masculinity. 2, unless he's feeding a bunch of starving children, I don't ever want to hear about Russ cooking again. I know that's from a different game, but it pisses me off. Worst, Kirk Cousins and Dalvin Cook fumbling the handoff on the goal line in the 4th quarter. Minnesota, how do you let this game go into overtime? Best, Justin Jefferson crossing the 1,000-yard mark on the season, becoming the only Vikings rook to do that since Randy Moss. I think he's the leading Rookie of the Year candidate right now, and I'll touch on that later. Raiders, Jets, best. The Raiders struggling against the Jets. This is the only team in the NFL that knows how to beat the Chiefs, but struggled to figure out the 0-11 fucking New York Jets. After the Falcons destroyed them last week, the Raiders are officially the biggest pretenders in the NFL, like I was saying in month 1. Worst, Sam Darnold dropping his shoulder and destroying Jeff Heath at the goal line for the touchdown for nothing. Darnold, never shy to risk his health, risked it here only to see his team lose and ensure his replacement is all but locked up for the Jets' tank. Worst, Vegas may have been putting on a clinic on how to lose, but the Jets, they graduated magna cum laude, have a PhD in tanking, and teach the master class for losingest losers. The Jets failed to get a first down, so Derek Carr had less than a minute left to make something happen. The Raiders needed a touchdown, and he completed 2 passes, with the final dagger being this throw to rookie Henry Ruggs, where for the first time ever, an NFL team sent 7 pass rushers in this situation. People assume this was intentional, but I honestly think Gregg Williams is just that fucking dumb. And the Jets have officially fired Gregg Williams after realizing they were the only team stupid enough to give him another defensive coordinating job. And like a cockroach, Adam Gase lives on. Patriots Chargers. Cam Newton, in my eyes, had 3 rushing touchdowns in this game, even though only 2 counted. His body made it into the end zone 3 times. Worst, backup Jarrett Stidham in cleanup duty nearly outthrew Cam on just 3 passing attempts, notching 61 yards to Cam's 69 in this one. Worst, the Chargers losing by 45 when the opposing quarterbacks combined for 130 passing yards. Worst, the Chargers leading a near-perfect 2-minute drill at the end of the half to give themselves a field goal opportunity before halftime. LA must have thought there was just 2 minutes left in the game because their kick was blocked and returned for a touchdown. And they always choke at the end of the game, rarely right before half. Worst, LA's special teams wasn't done fucking up. Gunnar Olszewski returned a punt for the score as the Patriots shut out the Chargers 45-0, making this the most lopsided shutout since 1989 when the Browns beat the Steelers 51-0. LA has officially been bounced from postseason contention, and I have to ask, why even tweet out this tweet, Chargers Twitter? Just ignore it. Just ignore it. Don't do this to yourselves. Worst, Justin Herbert's Rookie of the Year campaign took a hit. While he got shut out and lost his 9th game in 11 starts, I mentioned earlier that Justin Jefferson hit 1,000 yards, and I think he's been the better rookie, the better Justin, although Herbert has the distinct advantage of simply being a quarterback. Cardinals Rams, best. This was Kyler Murray's only completion in the first quarter. And at 59 yards, it was the longest pass the Rams defense has given up all year. But that's basically the only good thing Arizona did. Murray threw a late game pick 6, and I have diagnosed these birds with the swine flu. So take those broken wings and learn to fry them in something spicy and send them over to hot ones, because those wings are done. Shit. Best, the Rams let Todd Gurley go, and it was probably the best decision they've made in years. Darrell Henderson had a long touchdown run, and he and Cam Akers and Malcolm Brown have combined for 1,166 rushing yards and 10 touchdowns on the season. Todd Gurley, just 626 yards on 3.6 yards per carry. Seahawks Giants, worst. A team I'm less and less impressed with every week, Seattle. A team that I think is trending in the right direction, your first place New York Football Giants in the Benchwarmer Brew Game of the Week. We had two huge benchers in this game, and quarterback Colt McCoy and running back Alfred Morris, with the only 2 touchdowns in this game through the first 3 quarters until Chris Carson caught one for the Hawks. Morris was lethal in the red zone with a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown. Colt McCoy did just enough with 105 passing yards and a pick and a TD to get the win. Best, DK Metcalf stiff-arming James Bradberry so far into the turf, he got his own HBO series. 6 feet under. And just like Bradberry's performance this year, up until this play, 6 feet under might be HBO's most underrated series ever. Packers-Eagles, best. Aaron Rodgers backed up on his own goal line with no worries whatsoever. How many teams complete a 43-yard pass in this situation? Rodgers to Adams has to be one of the most in-sync duos in the league. Maybe it's the ice in his veins. Maybe it's a bunch of Xanax, but Rodgers is always relaxed. Worst, Jalen Hurts coming into the game and showing Eagles fans the type of success they might have had all season by throwing a 43-yard dart on his first passing attempt. You guys also voted for Jalen Hurts as the Benchwarmer Player of the Week on my Benchwarmer Brew Twitter account. So I guess he can have the award. Best, J.K. Scott showed that he spent 0 time practicing tackling. As the last line of defense, he's failed miserably twice this season in stopping a punt return touchdown. Again, the only hope is for the Packers to bring in J.K. Simmons to coach J.K. Scott into a tackling machine.
Keep playing! Keep playing! Keep playing! Don't stop!
Best, Aaron Jones snaking his way into the end zone to ensure at least one NFC East team would lose to their much better opponent Sunday and save the Packers from ultimate shame. And that's it. That's your best and worst of the week. I'm saving the Big Dick Player Awards for a video later this week since 3 games are being played Monday and Tuesday night. So I'll have a final Big Dick finale tally then.